responsibility.
Finishing this fight.
Hello everyone, and welcome into the Lore Council. This is Cade, and I am joined, of course, by Keith.
Hey guys.
So today we are going to be going over a comment that was left on our previous video where we touched on Star Wars, and that is Ahsoka important to Episode 3? And we had a comment on that. The comment is by Jedi Knight James Lunagazer, and they kind of gave us the idea once we saw the comment, asking how would we write Star Wars: The Clone Wars if we were in charge, which is very obvious by the title of the video. So we will be jumping right into that. Now, to preface, I am not a fan of 99% of the Clone Wars. Keith, I know your opinion's a little different than mine.
Right, yeah. Yeah, probably say more of a fan of I don't know, 50 to 70% of Clone Wars. Pretty good.
Yeah.
But you used to like it.
Yeah, I used to like it when I was younger. I really, really liked it. But then once I got deeper into deep web Star Wars stuff, learning more about the lore, learning about the original Clone Wars series, and learning just through various Wikipedia perusing that the 2008 Clone Wars series is not at all beholden to the expanded universe at all, and then it just grrr. And so now I have the internet's most unpopular opinions on Dave Filoni, because God, I'd like to just punch him in his smug little face.
So you kind of experienced the prequel effect there, where it's pretty great when you were a kid, but then you grow up and look at it, you're like, oh, okay, it's not as good as I remembered it being.
Yeah, because I think 2008 I would have been 13 years old, so I was right in that prime demographic that they were trying to hit. So I watched it, and then I think I liked it until about 2014. So I had a good 5, 6, 7 years to kind of vibe with it, and then kind of fell out. And yeah,
Clone Wars, I'm pretty sure I kept up with it the whole way through while it was on TV. Pretty much up until the 5th season, or was it the 4th season? Or basically just whenever Ahsoka left the Jedi Order. I think that was the last season.
End of the 5th season.
Yeah, then it was that one, and then Clone Wars was just done for a bit, and then they released the 6th season on Netflix, etc.
Yeah. But yeah, so these would be how if we went back in time to 2008. Well, probably before then, I suppose, for the development, and how we would rewrite the Clone Wars series. So I'll just start off here. Big fat numero uno, no Ahsoka.
What a coincidence. That is also my number one on my list. No Ahsoka, yeah. Don't really need that much of an explanation for this one,
Yeah, I mean, just Ahsoka fanboys, let the hate flow through you and whatnot. But yeah, even when I was younger, I was never a fan of Ahsoka. It never made sense that Anakin has a Padawan, and plus him being a knight at this time period just messes with the whole timeline. And when he actually got knighted in the original micro series, he was a Padawan for the majority of the Clone Wars, and now he's a knight for the majority of the Clone Wars. And he has this Padawan, and I get it. They wanted to kind of have that, Obi-Wan and Anakin kind of dynamic, but with Anakin, considering he's, kind of the main character of the prequels. So, but I think she just... there's another channel, it escapes me, that I'd watched their video a while ago, and he basically sums it up as she steals his character development more or less. Anakin through the Clone Wars is a very, very static character. He does not change.
Yeah.
He does not mature. He already starts off as like a fairly like
He's basically like he's like almost Episode 3 Anakin, pretty much, just without all the anger and a lot of that stuff taken away for at least the for most of the series.
yeah. Yeah, and I think her inclusion just does a huge disservice to Anakin. I mean, I think
so
like if you want
the no Ahsoka thing, it's kind of like a double-edged sword there. If there's no Ahsoka, you also get Anakin as Padawan again, and give him back that character development.
yeah, and if if
That means angry stings.
Yeah.
Means Anakin rampages and stuff.
yeah. And if you absolutely have to have Ahsoka in, if there's like a divine mandate from George Lucas, you have to have this Togruta alien, and her name's going to be Ahsoka Tano.
She's gonna wear this tank top thing.
Yeah, even though she's 14, we're going to dress her like one of Jabba's dancers. I may have gone a little far in some places.
That's funny. I remember watching the 2008 Clone Wars movie with my mom, and she thought that like Ahsoka was like Anakin's slave or something.
Oh my
Just
god!
from the way she looked. She asked me, like, she is a slave or something? I'm like,
Yeah. If you absolutely have to include the character of Ahsoka Tano, just make her just a Jedi Padawan, just to some random made up Jedi. Easy.
Yeah.
Bam, done.
just make her like Padawan, like maybe like close to Anakin's age. Bam. Now she's a character on the
there you
show.
go. Yeah.
Doesn't really fuck with anything.
And I've seen people say that she should have been Plo Koon's apprentice, which would have made sense considering Plo Koon was the Jedi who discovered Ahsoka. So yeah, just stick her with Plo Koon. He's doing stuff, Plo Koon stuff.
Yeah, that's a good idea you hit on there though. Like Anakin having like a Jedi Padawan friend, is like, I think it's better for his character at that point, and better to his overall character development. Knowing what he'll do later. Him having like an actual friend in the Jedi Order.
Yeah, and even I think kind of bouncing off this idea now of Ahsoka being like his like friend, like a peer, essentially. Like, oh, how cool would it be if there was like we have the Order 66 moment, and oh my god, Anakin has to kill his buddy that he made at the beginning of the war. Oh my god. And there you go. Totally tragic. And then it allows you to or even say if Ahsoka, in the current canon, if Ahsoka escapes from Order 66, then she can go do Rogue Jedi stuff. Bam! Ahsoka spin-off comic, but it's in a completely different, way better, in my opinion, context.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah, just having her not be Anakin's Padawan and just be like a regular Jedi makes the character 50% better immediately.
Yeah, there we go. And instead of having her dress like one of Jabba's dancers, just give her a regular Jedi robe.
Jedi robes, yes.
Yeah. Like 99.9% of other Jedi. So, bam, that's another easy thing solved.
Except Ayla Secura, but I think we know what George is thinking there.
Oh well, yeah, got to have.
She's a Twi'lek. She's gotta wear white leather.
She's a Twi'lek, and there's no underwear in space. So she's gonna wear a sports bra, and yoga pants. But yeah, no. So
everyone just nods their heads. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Sure, George. Did you take your pills today? From Ahsoka, so that's how we would either know Ahsoka or make her appear to Anakin and include her in the story that way. So my number 2 is have the story follow around new characters, but still have episodes following around the established characters too. So yeah.
And we'll get to see Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting in the war, and Obi-Wan having to train Anakin as a Jedi in the middle of all this.
Yeah, so you can still have all those things, but rather than always have it be about Obi-Wan or Anakin or Padme or Mace or Yoda or whoever, it's Star Wars. It's a huge galaxy. You could follow around like just a regular person, or Get some cool like expanded universe nods in there, like, oh, maybe have an episode like follow around Ram Koda and see what his militia were doing, like how were they different than the clones, and get some stuff in there. That'd be pretty cool, like tied into that kind of stuff. Maybe like there's a conscripted just regular human who's in like the Republic Army, or like he's like a starfighter pilot or a commander of a ship or something. And he's not a clone, so he's having to deal with all these people who have this pre-existing relationships, and he's kind of just thrust right into the middle of it. So there's a million different things you could do that aren't following around Anakin in the main cast.
Yeah, I do still want plenty of clone action though, for sure.
Oh yeah, and we would still get that. But yeah, so what would your number 2 be?
Yeah, my number 2 is more action.
Nice.
Just way more action, less plot focused stuff. Just make it an action show.
Yeah, and I think to kind of reference a different point of media, I think a really cool way to do that, and not necessarily have more action, but have more impactful action, would kind of be follow like the Game of Thrones model. I know I hate the TV show past season 4, but like the first 3 seasons did it super well, where like you'll have this season-long build-up, and then you'll have this huge payoff of like this huge action set piece, and and then you'll still have like little smaller pieces of action thrown in there, like, oh, we can still get like a starfighter dogfight, and we can still get some ground fighting between the clones and the droids. But I think having it where like you'll have like this nice big season to build up, and you'll get to see like bits and pieces here, and then like just blow that animation budget on like, maybe like 2 or 3 episodes of just like pure like spectacle and plot and bam.
Yeah. It's definitely a way to go. Game of Thrones definitely kind of did the thing where a lot of the action would happen like off screen.
Yeah, I think, kind of take that off screen action, put like those smaller battles on screen, like little small skirmishes, like I said, in like dogfights and that kind of stuff. And like put it in between this stuff. Like, I mean, like if you've read the comic books, like they do it very well. Of like, not every single issue is just battle, action,
Yeah.
blam, blam, blam. And kind of just follow. And I think like doing it in that way too, like kind of like following, not necessarily the comic storylines, but the way that the comics did it, of like putting in their action, I think would be a really good way to do it.
Yeah, and something I was thinking about for that was like just better story arcs, because Clone Wars had some great story arcs, but they just didn't have a lot of them. I would want the show to be just almost completely like these like 3 episode story arcs, like a comic, right? You got your arcs and you just go through them.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of did that, but like at the same time,
they had like one-off episodes and like, all this stuff. No, none of that. You can have scenes in an episode where like you go to the Senate and you have like Senate intrigue, and it's tied to the the plot of the story with the the action, right? It's fueling the action. Maybe throw in some like some Palpatine plotting, some underhanded stuff there. Please feel more of that. That would be awesome. And yeah, I think that could work pretty well.
All right, nice. A very, very strong number 2 to follow mine. So I've made a quick on-the-fly change to mine, number 3, from what we previously discussed about. So whoa, but I just changed mine. Originally it was something else, but I kind of tied it into my number 4. But my number 3 is no more Darth Maul. Darth Maul stays dead. He is deader than a doornail.
No.
He got
old.
Yeah, I know that's one of the big things that like people really love, and everyone says, "Oh my God, the Clone Wars totally made Darth Maul a cool character." It's like, Darth Maul was cool before then. Like the Darth Maul book and the Darth Maul comics, like those were all cool. We don't need Darth Maul all of the sudden becoming like this criminal mastermind. Like it does not fit his background. It does not fit his character that had existed beforehand. Like he is not a grand scheming character.
Yeah, definitely in the Clone Wars TV show, he has more of like a slimy kind of scheminess about him. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, well, and also there's the fact, feel free, everybody watching, feel free to nail me to the cross right now, crucify me for it, but I do not like Sam Witwer Darth Maul. like one bit. I cannot stand it.
How dare you?
It
Sam
doesn't-
Witwer is a national treasure.
Sure, whatever you say. I mean, he's like he's a good looking dude. He did a good Star Killer.
He's really good at yelling and stuff.
Yeah,
in Star
he's
Killer.
really good at yelling, but like Maul isn't like a character that should be every 2 seconds. Like, I mean, God, by the time and that's the thing. They wanted to milk Darth Maul because he was popular. He's like a cool character. He's like basically the prequels Boba Fett, where he has like basically one big appearance.
I've never heard it, put that way, but that is yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the prequels Boba Fett. Like, he looks cool, and that's about it. He's in one movie. Boba Fett's basically only in Empire Strikes Back. Like, yeah, he's in Return of the Jedi to get knocked in the Sarlacc pit. Boba Fett.
I mean, you could swap him out for General Grievous, I guess, but
yeah, like literally just like give his episodes to a different Separatist villain. Give him to Asajj Ventress after she gets betrayed by Dooku or something. Like, it makes much more sense for like a character like Asajj Ventress, who was previously a warlord, to be like this person who's gonna like make a criminal empire after they get discarded, versus Maul, who was basically trained as a tool by Palpatine.
Yeah.
Like,
he was just a weapon.
Yeah, like, and if you read like the Plagueis novel and all that other media and stuff, it basically just tells you like Maul is expendable. Like, he's an assassin. He's a really good like lightsaber fighter, and he's good at like killing people. That's about it. He was
never really attributed to being smart.
Yeah, like a big planner. So that would be my big number 3. We'll get a nice big controversial take right in the middle. No more Darth Maul.
Yeah, I feel like the overall overarching theme here is sticking close to the EU and the movies. Not really messing with the just being faithful, doing what KOTOR did when they made their video game. They're like, hey, let's use all this stuff that we got to make something new, but that keeps to the spirit of the thing.
Yeah, and I think
and the strict lore requirements.
The strict lore requirements. Excuse me, but if you put in this episode, it will actually contradict this comic book from 1993. We can't have that in there, sir.
Actually, lightsabers can't work underwater because of the crystals colliding with the. What were we talking about?
Darth Maul no longer in Clone Wars.
Right, yeah. So yeah, that's definitely just kind of like, at least for me, that's like a given if we're just going more EU.
Well,
just as for like just in the Clone Wars, yeah, I enjoyed Maul in the Clone Wars.
All right, well,
it's not my favorite thing. It was good on the TV show because like the TV show kind of needed something juicy and interesting like that, so it was pretty cool when it came out.
Yeah. Well, tell you what we're gonna do. You want juicy and interesting? I just thought of this right on the fly as we're recording this at 7:43 p.m. on 10/06/21. Take all that time that Filoni gave to Maul. We're gonna give it to Dooku.
Grievous?
We're gonna give it to Dooku. I want to see what Dooku's doing. I want more Dooku. Yeah. Like, he's the big bad of the series. He's the big bad of the Clone Wars. And Grievous, yeah. Yeah, Grievous got a decent amount of screen time though. Dooku not enough.
Well, I mean, this is one of my later points, but right, Grievous, scary, and he's an actual, antagonist. He's an actual threat, and he has schemes and he has tactics.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll move on from this. Yeah, basically my number 3.
Dooku, yes, Dooku is awesome.
Give more Dooku, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw a ton of money in the budget. I want Christopher Lee back, man. Just bring him back. I don't care what he's doing, if he's recording his crappy Christmas albums or what he's doing. He's coming to record these lines. So what would your number 3 rewrite be?
Yeah, number 3 is more clones, or just more clone-based episodes, or more episodes just involving the clones, because it's the Clone Wars, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes with that, I guess. But yeah, I just want more just more like clone stuff, like Obi-Wan and Anakin and other Jedi generals and stuff like that, having to lead the clones, having to actually command these guys that they've, been given charge of. Showing that, just being so, lore accurate to how the clones are supposed to be, which is they follow orders, they'll do pretty much whatever the Jedi tell them to do.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, that would definitely be a very welcome addition. Yeah, not much more has to be said about that point. Clones be cool, man.
For sure. Oh, and still showing like arc clones, clone commanders, the whole gamut of the clone types. And yeah, Clone Wars TV show did a decent job of, I guess, of showing like the transition from Phase 1 to Phase 2 clones and all that good stuff. But yeah, they could do it a bit better.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I'm in complete agreement there. Nothing more to spitball there. But I will say, your number 3 ties in perfectly with my number 4, because I'm gonna throw another hot, spicy one out there for the masses. No more like snowflake clones. Like, no more every clone is different with their own personality, man. This one, like, oh, we got Captain Rex over here. He's got the slim, shady haircut, and he's cool. And then we got this guy over here. He's got a face tattoo, and he's got a mohawk or something. And then
this guy has like a weird design in his hair.
Yeah, this guy's got a double mohawk. Nope, no more of that. Clones.
This guy's name is Big Jim over here.
Yeah, this guy's name is John Hancock. Whoa. But no, so no more like snowflake clones. The clones, yes, they're still gonna have personality. They're still gonna banter with each other. They do that in the comics. They do that in the novels. But we're not gonna give every clone that shows up on screen a unique look. A silly little code name. Yeah, every once in a while, yeah, like clones, yeah, give them a code name, especially if they're a main character clone. Give them something that sets them apart. But we're not going to have, Captain Rex, professional badass.
Yeah, maybe show some clone culture, like, we could, like a bunch of clones coming off of like a heavy ass campaign, they're like hardcore veterans, interacting with a bunch of, I'm not sure what they called them in Legends, but essentially shiny clones, the ones who they don't have any marks on their armor, stuff like that, That would be so awesome.
Yeah, and stuff like that versus like where every single clone is like, and I get it. I get why they did it. They're trying to humanize the clones. They're trying to make them like relatable. They're trying to make it seem like a tiny bit more realistic, where every single one of them has their own thing. Oh, this is Captain Rex. This is Fives. This is Echoes. This is Heavy. He's got a big gun, and
he's heavy and he carries a heavy gun.
Yeah, so no more of that. I thought that was goofy, and then I lumped in my previous point with this so I could get in my controversial Maul take. No more brain chips in the clones either. Like that's still gonna my number 4. It's a lazy way to explain Order 66 versus in the expanded universe where the clones are so fanatically loyal to the Republic that as soon as the Jedi are branded as basically just enemies of the state, they go into it and they act. They're so loyal to the Chancellor. They're so loyal. Like, this is just bred into them, and they drill on it. They do all this stuff, and it makes Order 66 mean something, plus all the other orders that there are. Like, there's one of the orders in their huge thing is like, oh, what if we, get rid of the Chancellor or whatever. Yeah, I think one is one of them. Yeah, so there's Order 65, where if the majority of the Senate declare that the Supreme Chancellor was unfit for duty, that he would basically just be removed from office, basically. And, like, having something like that, it's like a contingency order versus something that is, like, programmed in their brain.
The clones are programmed, they're just not programmed with a chip. They're, like, it's like mental programming and training, since they were, little clones.
Yeah, exactly. And, literally in the expanded universe, there are 150 contingency orders for the Grand Army of the Republic. And, yeah, there's a whole bunch of those, and just something that is like, oh, the clones follow orders. Like, that's their whole things. And, like,
in Legends, when they, do Order 66, they, like, the Jedi are caught completely unawares because they don't sense any malice or any kind of like change from the clones when they just turn their guns on them and shoot them.
Yeah, because the clones aren't doing it out of hatred or like because they're being compelled by like a brain chip. They do it because that's a contingency order that they have. If the Chancellor orders Order 66, you know what's about to happen. If the Senate orders Order 65, then they know what to do. It's like very precise. It's very.
They've all been bred to be the perfect soldiers. They're basically Jango Fett, but he can take orders. It's pretty fucking scary.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that kind of keeps with that is like there's a passage in the Plagueis novel where there's an Iktachi and she basically predicts the future like before Plagueis kills her. And she says it's like basically a battle of sentient droids versus droids. The clone troopers are supposed to be essentially sentient droids that they take orders, they don't talk back, and they don't care about themselves.
The difference being that they're just actually competent versus the droids.
Yeah, exactly. They have like the higher brain power of like a sentient being.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my number 4. No more, take Captain Rex, take all those action figures, throw them in the landfill.
Wow.
Yep.
Alpha, not Rex.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So what is your number 4 rewrite?
My number 4, I just have horror of war. Just show the horror of war, and I'll just throw in like the scale of war. Just really, make it feel like it's a war. Like no matter where you're at, if you're and in the Republic, you can just feel the tension of it. If you're in like the Senate halls, you can just feel the tension of the war. Or if you're I don't know, just following somebody else around, they talk about it. Or in the actual war, it just feels big. Just you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean.
And I'm not sure if it's going to be a kids show. I guess if we're sticking with the Clone Wars kind of thing, it couldn't show too much violence, but I would like to show as much violence and death as possible, just to make a point.
Well, I mean, even like the 2004 Clone Wars did like a decent job of that, of like showing the scale and like kind of following along in that, like where, and that's where I think tying it back to like an earlier point that I had made about following around new characters. Is like following around these new characters, you can see how the war is going to affect like the mid rim, the outer rim, the core worlds. Like as these other characters are like jumping around doing stuff, you can see like how does the war affect Coruscant versus how does the war affect another planet in like, or how does the war affect like the financial district? How does the war affect this? How does it affect that? And like being able to show that, which the 2008 Clone Wars, like they have scale in the sense that they'll have a lot of things fighting each other, but not galactic scale. So I definitely agree with what you're saying.
Right, yeah, like some episodes like do it pretty well, I guess, like Landing at Point Rain. They have this thing where they're just showing all the the drop chips and stuff, and yeah, definitely more of galactic kind of war scale. Yeah, and I definitely have the 2D Clone Wars show in mind because they just fit in a lot of ships and stuff like that in there.
Yeah, for sure. No arguments here. Getting like that scale and everything like is a huge thing. You have anything more to add on your point 4?
No, not really. Just ramp up the edginess and yeah.
All right, 10 beheadings per episode. Got it.
Yes, the Game of Thrones treatment.
All right, so my 5th and final point. We've each chosen to stick with 5, and both of us have kind of mentioned mine a little throughout. But I think my 5th point is keep it connected to the EU. Dave Filoni. Reason I can't stand him is he constantly lies. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the expanded universe. I love the expanded universe. I love all this stuff. And then he proceeds to make things that just like trample and blibbity blop all over the expanded universe continuity. Like I would keep it like within the comic, like, you know, what's going on in the comics, like, and not necessarily following along, you know, you know, we have to include this event. No, like, we can see it maybe from a different point of view. So, like, so the Battle of Jabim, for example, like, one of the biggest things in the Clone Wars, one of, like, the edgiest things ever in like, a Star Wars comic. What if we saw that from someone else's point of view, like a regular person's point of view, or like how I was talking about following around a new set of characters? How do we see them handle it? Like, how do we see them get off-world? How do we see them survive? And stuff like that. Like,
just building up the, you know, I guess just the atmosphere of the world through other characters. Yeah, that would be great.
yeah, and even including, like, just other stuff. Like, why not have an episode where you follow around Quinlan Vos, like, doing stuff where he's infiltrating Dooku's inner circle and falling to the dark side? Like, that is the perfect, like, side story for, like, a long-running TV show. Like, having something like that, like, adapting Quinlan Vos where he isn't, like, a cool surfer dude where he's like, hey, man, I have the ability to see the memories of things that have been, like, touched by other people. And instead just, like, having him be this character who, like, goes through all these trials and tribulations, and he falls to the dark side and he gets redeemed, and we get to see that even though things are at their absolute worst for the Republic, like, they're still good and there's all this good stuff. And conversely, we have events like the Battle of Jabim, which is just like a huge humanitarian disaster. Or we have, like, it basically, to kind of tie this in with some points earlier, I would have the series end, basically, the last episodes would be, like, the Siege of Seleucumai. And like, the events surrounding that from the comics. And then maybe have, like, the last couple episodes, like, skip forward a bit in time to stuff that the micro series didn't cover, and have, like, kind of have, like, a direct, like, kind of like Order 66 episode where we get to see all that happen, and then maybe, like, an episode to close it out where it's like Darth Vader walks out onto a balcony in, like, his new suit and whatever, and it's super cool, and we can, like, connect it all to the expanded universe and just keep it all within the timeline. Because right now, if you go to Wikipedia and you go to any of the stuff in the Clone Wars time period, like, it is just full of weird retcons and explanations for how things are. Why is Mandalore a planet full of pacifists when before then it was basically a planet full of Jango Fetts?
Yeah.
Like, and stuff like that. Like, no more of those. Cut that Mandalore arc. Duchess Satine, kick you to the curb. Sorry, honey. But yeah, just keeping it as close to the EU as we can possibly get.
Yeah, and with that, you know, with keeping things going up right up to Revenge of the Sith, you could even, you know, make a sequel to the Clone Wars show and do you know, Dark Times, but in, you know, TV show form.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Infinite.
Just adapt everything from within that period of time in the EU.
Yeah,
Post Clone Wars.
There you go. Infinite content machine. Going to be making Lucasfilm money for the next 50 years without doing the sequel trilogy.
I don't get why Clone Wars didn't adapt to, like, the Quinlan Vos thing. Like, did he maybe show up like once or twice in the show?
Yeah, it's a couple times, but during the time period he shows up, he's supposed to be, like, infiltrating Dooku's thing, and he's already fallen to the dark side.
Yeah, it's kind of making me want to rewatch Clone Wars now.
Yeah, alright, so before you rewatch Clone Wars, we gotta get your number 5 rewrite.
I didn't give you my number 5?
No.
Well, the number 5 would basically be General Grievous is scary. He's, you know, a formidable enemy. And Dirge. We need Dirge back.
Oh, yeah, Dirge would be cool.
We've got Dirge, Ventress, Grievous, and Grievous is... basically, I want all of them to be as, you know, accurate to the comics as possible.
Yeah.
I want Grievous to be an actual enemy.
Menace, yeah.
And I guess if we were being accurate on the comic book side, well, I'm not sure in the comics when he becomes more, like, active. Like, according to in Legends, he was, like, at the Battle of Geonosis, but Yeah, let's say he shows up like a year after the war starts, something like that. But yeah, once he shows up, he's like, he's a threat because that's what he's made out as in 2D Clone Wars in the comics. He's an actual tactical threat. He, in Episode 3, he's the key to ending the war.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, so he gets all of that, right? Because if you marry Clone Wars Grievous, TV show Clone Wars Grievous with his Episode 3 counterpart, it just does not make sense. You're telling me the guy who just bumbles around all the time and punches his droids like a cartoon villain is the key to ending the entire war?
Oh yeah, I definitely agree, and kind of like you mentioned with Dirge, Ventress, and Grievous, like that's basically the holy trinity of like your bad guys there. Maybe add in like Dooku and add in some of those other like of Dooku's like dark acolytes and stuff. But definitely like just like I think I would even expand that on Grievous in my opinion. Expand that to like get some more villains in there because in the 2008 Clone Wars we have Dooku, Grievous, Ventress, Maul. That's it. Like we don't have any anyone else. We don't have Quinlan Vos falling to the dark side. We don't have anybody else.
Sora Bulk.
Yeah, Sora Bulk. We don't have him.
Yeah, that'd be cool to have some Dark Jedi.
Yeah, get some Dark Jedi in there. Like
maybe some like Black Sun, something like that. More gangster stuff, some gangster plot lines.
Yeah, like that would be perfect. Like
nothing like the Jedi having to like save Jabba's son or something, but something better.
Oh God, no, definitely no Stinky the Hutt. So,
Stinky.
But yeah.
Heyo, Stinky. Oh, sorry.
No, you were good. But yeah, that's our 5 big rewrites we would do, which is basically going to change the entire premise of the cartoon.
Would it still be 3D?
Would
you want it to still have that like kind of like serial style? I like the serial style from the show, with the guy with the voice. Oh, the Clone Wars.
I think keep the serial guy to the start of the arc. We don't need him every episode.
But he's got to catch you up on the details.
I don't care. No, I definitely don't need to have him every episode. I think at the start of a new story...
Having just more story arcs, though, would just improve the show so much more.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing, though. When we have that narrator guy at the beginning, and yeah, I get it, that's the voice actor from Wolf Yularen, and they want to use him because I'm sure he's, a semi-famous voice actor, so he probably costs a pretty penny.
Admiral Wolf Yularen.
Admiral Wolf Yularen. I sound like a 1920s baseball announcer. Babe Ruth has just hit a home run. And next up on the Clone Wars...
got him. His voice is pretty great.
I don't like it because it sounds like a 1920s baseball announcer. Okay, here. If you want to have him in every episode, here's my compromise for our rewrite in the writing room. We get the narrator from Dragon Ball Z. That's my concession.
Okay, I haven't watched enough Dragon Ball Z to get that reference.
Oh, gotcha. Find out next time on Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Yeah, that sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah. Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. But yeah, I still want to keep... I don't know, I always like that serial thing. And the little messages before each show, I guess, was kind of okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Also, we gotta do something about that. Here's my little extra thing. I do not like the Clone Wars theme song, where it's like a weird... Yeah, it's like a weird... Like, if you want to do it, just like...
I don't know, it's kind of like a...
It's
like they decided to like do like half the song, but in like just drums, orchestra drums or whatever.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's
I don't know. I have too much nostalgia tied to it, and to not like it.
Also, having the weird little like sayings before each episode as well. That's not it for me, Chief.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty hard to remember, and they're all kind of similar-ish. Yeah.
Yeah. So get rid
Maybe
of
something
those.
better.
I think, like, having like a short little stinger episode. This is just getting nitpicky at this point, but yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna replace the. We're gonna have a little stinger in the beginning of every episode, and it's gonna be the voice. It's gonna be the narrator from Dragon Ball Z. He's gonna do it, and it's not gonna sound like a 1920s baseball announcer. And we're gonna have all the things that we said. So, Keith, anything else to add before we part ways?
No, I mean, oh yeah, Tamara Morrison as the clones instead of
yes.
D. Bradley Baker.
Yes, yes. No offense to the Gravemind, no offense to Klaus, but no, yeah, we're gonna get Tamara Morrison back. He doesn't do. It's not like he's busy.
Yeah.
Doing anything like he's like a C-list actor. We can definitely get him. We'll get.
Yeah,
him
I
back.
think he did some. He's done. You know, he did the video games and stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, you know, well, I mean, he might have to miss Moana, which is unfortunate because that's one of my favorite Disney princess movies. So
I have not seen that.
it's really good. He's in it. He is Moana's dad.
Oh,
He's in it for maybe like 3 minutes.
Where's my armor? I want my armor back.
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
No, he talks about other stuff. It's pretty cool. Here's my little recommendation at the end of this completely unrelated video. Moana's really good. I really like it. Okay, here. If I have to convince you, The Rock and Tamara Morrison are in it.
Nah.
Come on, man, it's The Rock.
Yeah, I would watch it, but you know, I just recently canceled my Disney Plus, so it's horrible timing.
Oh, jeez. Well,
Yeah. It also relates to not being able to watch the Clone Wars. Wait, no, it's not on Netflix anymore. No.
all right. So before we get too rambly and branch off into our other Disney movies that we like, this has been Cade from the Lore Council, signing off. If you've enjoyed this video or any other content that we've made, we're trying to grow the channel, so a like and a subscribe goes a very long way.
Yep. And this is Keith. We'll see y'all on the flip side.